conjures up a world where the daily is transformed and the exceptional becomes the norm. In this video, we'll share the 5 most significant signals that you're entering the magical 5th dimension. Get ready for a metamorphosis that will test your beliefs about the world and your place in it, one that will reveal new worlds of possibility and a deeper bond with the cosmos. We make a profound connection with wisdom from higher levels when we raise our energy and frequency on this path. This link makes it easier for us to get understanding than it would be for people who choose to remain at a lesser energy level. To be clear, this has nothing to do with relative merit or demerit. Each soul goes in its own direction. It's natural for those taking part in the ascension process to feel discouraged or alone in a world so rife with grief and suffering as they make their way from the 3rd dimension to the 5th. It's crucial to understand that the leaders of the consciousness revolution will accept 5th dimensional awareness years before the general population. Although our loved ones may still be mirrored in cycles of pain, it is our duty to provide a calming influence on those who are about to begin their own ascent. One of the first people to enter the 5th level of awareness is anyone who has had a strong spiritual urge in the previous several years or decades, a feeling that they are here to do a certain task. You may have noticed a change but been unable to identify it. The 5th dimension is not a real location. It's a way of being aware. Colors may seem brighter or more tranquil, or you may experience an overwhelming sense of shift. Our brains, minds, and bodies have never been exposed to anything like this new dimension before, so it's hard to draw comparisons. However, being energy creatures, we have an innate awareness of its existence. The most important insight is that while your objective world doesn't change much, your internal experience of it does. It's like having your eyeglasses prescription changed in a metaphorical sense. Your priorities become more crystal obvious. Life continues as before, but you do it from a point of more acceptance of what truly matters. In the 3rd dimensional world of awareness, where we are currently experiencing a shift in choice, the moral ambiguity that permeates our decision-making can be overwhelming. When faced with a decision, we often feel paralyzed by the need to discover the best possible outcome because of the accompanying dread of making a mistake. Something spectacular happens, however, when we make the leap into 5th dimensional consciousness. These debilitating preconceptions start to go away. In their place comes the radical idea of letting go of one's own will, which is a clear indicator of our coming into harmony with greater insight. The letting go of constant self-doubt and cosmic skepticism is an integral part of this metamorphosis. Instead, we are in complete agreement with the course of events. In this enlightened condition, we see that we cannot avoid facing some challenges along the way. We go through a radical transformation toward faith and surrender when our egoic attachments dwindle. There's a new beat to life as we settle into this change. It becomes effortless, as if we are being swept along by the currents of our actual path, which we see clearly and more consciously for the first time. This is the beginning of a magical voyage of intense introspection and union with the cosmos. Second, a more ethereal perspective on the unfolding of events in one's life. Relying on a cycle of blame, a sense of victimization, or attributing events to the randomness of good or bad luck. People who are chronically operating at a lower frequency tend to adopt a mentality that attributes the various occurrences in their lives to external factors. These lower vibrational states of being are characterized by a narrow view of the world, with an emphasis kept firmly on the corporeal. Feelings of helplessness and alienation from life's deeper, more substantial parts might result from adopting such a narrow viewpoint. But there's also another world out there, one with a higher frequency that some people refer to as the 5th dimensional reality. Those who have achieved this level of enlightenment know that nothing happens here by sheer random chance or occurrence. To them, the universe is no longer a collection of unrelated events, but rather a complex web in which every thread has a purpose. In this enlightened mindset, challenges of any kind are seen as lessons to be learned and embraced as catalysts for change. Instead of seeing them as random roadblocks, we might see them as building blocks on the way to our greatest fulfillment. One's outlook on life's ups and downs undergoes a radical transformation when one realizes that everything they go through is part of a greater spiritual journey. Everywhere you go, persons with the 3rd digit are noticeably nicer. The environment around us undergoes a tremendous transformation, as we go into deeper levels of consciousness, becoming kinder and more forgiving. There has been a noticeable shift in the amount of goodwill individuals exude. Our collective consciousness is driving a real and profoundly enriching movement toward a better society. Let's look into this paradigm-shifting phenomena in more depth. Our knowledge of our own thoughts, feelings, and the energy we project into the environment grows as we go through the levels of consciousness. It's like someone turned on a light in a room that was previously dark. Our interactions are profoundly affected by our progress toward this higher level of awareness. As a result of our efforts, a stunning reflection is created. People we encounter reflect the optimism, friendliness, and goodwill we give forth. At first glance, the world's transformations may seem inconsequential, yet their impact is far-reaching. There is a rise in the frequency with which people help strangers by holding doors or complimenting them on their appearance. These seemingly little acts are actually rather important in the grand scheme of things. Nobody is oblivious to this change. There is more love and kindness infused into our everyday interactions. It's a welcome change of pace in a world that might often feel chilly and distant. Finally, as we jointly enter this new era of increased awareness, we are experiencing a dramatic shift in the way we communicate with one another. The world is changing into a more kind and welcoming environment. The smallest acts of kindness may have a profound impact on our world and the people in it. Let's keep spreading joy and welcoming this fantastic change toward a kinder global community. The process of letting go of the old in order to make room for the new is the fourth step on the unyielding path of healing. In order to achieve fifth dimension consciousness, the cosmos requires us to become as empty as possible. It helps us grow and change by allowing us to confront and overcome our limiting beliefs and feelings. When we go through a sequence of traumatic events, it might feel as if we are simultaneously vibrating at the greatest frequency and being subjected to the most chaotic ordeals. This might cause one to lose hope and even get enraged with God. The important thing to remember is that everything will work out in the end. It becomes clear that every feeling that arises inside us, when the love within us wakes, longs for our attention and unconditional love. We become our own heart healers, and the turbulent waves of emotional restoration give way to a lovely nothingness that ushers us ever closer to the fifth dimension. A profound connection with greater knowledge and an enlightened comprehension of our decisions and life experiences await us on this transforming trip to the fifth plane of awareness. The process might be taxing, but it ultimately results in a more compassionate society and a sea change on the inside. Recognize that you are a pioneer who is paving the road for others by embracing this change. Fifth, a calm disposition. In my own life's path, I've stumbled upon something absolutely remarkable, a profound change in consciousness that has granted me a newfound sense of inner serenity. Third-dimensional living may be fraught with pressure, rivalry, and a never-ending sense of wanting more. We live in a world where our emotions are frequently determined by events beyond our control. Finding happiness and joy inside oneself appears to be contingent on external factors. On the other hand, there is a quiet serenity in the fifth dimension. Here I've seen that attention moves from things happening outside of myself to how I feel about myself. Being mindful is focusing on the here and now, practicing appreciation and realizing that kindness and empathy are the foundations of our existence. My knowledge of my inner mental and emotional states has increased in the fifth dimension. I no longer let my emotions or impulses dictate my reactions. Rather, I make deliberate decisions about them. With this fresh perspective, I've learned to find calm no matter how difficult life becomes. In the third dimension, prejudice and anxiety are usually the order of the day. It's a location where people see themselves as distinct from one another, which can breed hostility and rivalry. However, I have found a sense of wholeness and connectivity in the fifth dimension. By realizing that other people are only mirrors of myself, I am better able to comprehend, empathize with, and ultimately create harmony with them. In conclusion, making the jump from the third to the fifth dimension entails making the transition from outside turbulence to inner tranquility, from fear to love, and from separation to union. A deeper comprehension of the role that free will plays in influencing our reactions to life has accompanied us on our quest for inner peace in the fifth dimension. It's a trip that keeps giving me more joy and peace in my interactions with the world. In this altered state of consciousness, I believe we may more easily make contact with our inner enlightenment and the knowledge of the universe. The spiritual meaning of everyday occurrences begins to register in our awareness. Rather than seeing life's happenings as haphazard or dependent on chance, we now see them as deliberate and directed for our greatest happiness and spiritual development. In addition to the enhanced clarity, our vibrational state has increased. The world around us may not change much, but how we interpret it certainly does. It's like having our eyeglasses adjusted to perfection. Our vision sharpens, and we gain the serenity and wisdom to accept the world as it is. During this life-altering trip, we not only learn to access the knowledge of other dimensions, but also the knowledge of our own self. We shine like a bright light, spreading compassion and understanding. And by doing so, we help move the world as a whole toward more peace and kindness. Accept this change with the knowledge that you are a trailblazer, leading mankind to a better tomorrow. I hope you found today's video insightful and enriching. Subscribe to never miss a life lesson and enrich your day. I look forward to sharing more wisdom with you. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it with your friends, and comment below to express your commitment to this lesson. I will keep going, or I will never give up.